Greetings. My name is Dr. P. Saujanya, Associate Professor, Vignan Pharmacy College, Guntur. I warmly welcome you all to the lecture on concepts, terminology, and principles of microbiology. In microbiology, frequently we will come across the terms bacteria, fungi, protozoa, helminths, and they have been named based on binomial lineage system. This binomial lineage system uses genus and species. Most of these bacteria, fungi, protozoa, helminths are nomenclatured under binomial lineage system. But viruses are not so named. For example, if we take bacteria, Escherichia coli. In Escherichia coli, Escherichia is a genus name and coli is the species name. Similarly, the yeast Candida albicans. Candida is a genus and albicans is the species. But viruses typically have a single name such as poliovirus, measles, rabies virus, etc. And some viruses they have two words like herpes simplex virus, etc. But even though they have two words, they doesn't represent genus and species name. If we see some of the definitions in microbiology, the term infection. Infection is a generic term used to indicate invasion of the host by the microorganism. That is, infecting of microorganism to a host cell. Here the host may be of either human beings or plants or animals. An infection may be subclinical or asymptomatic when the patient is unaware of infection. In nowadays, we will come across these asymptomatic word. Uh, the people who are asymptomatic to the infection are not associated with any signs and symptoms. Whereas clinical infection is associated with the presence of over signs and symptoms of the disease. And next, if you see the word colonization. Colonization is nothing but growth of organism. It should be restricted to the presence of microbe at an expected site. That is nothing but growth of organism. And then pathogen. Pathogen is a microbe that is potentially can cause harm. That is tissue damage. A microbe which have ability to cause the disease is known as pathogen. And then opportunistic pathogen. It is a microbe that causes infection to patients with impaired immunity. Example, fungal infections in cancer patients. Opportunistic pathogen is a microbe that causes infection in patients with impaired immunity, which who doesn't have the immunity. And in any other infections, these opportunistic pathogens may cause the infection. Next, moving to principles of microbiology. The medical microbiology comprises of various fields of microbiology like immunology, bacteriology, virology, mycology, and parasitology, each of which has been considerable independent development in the past few decades. Commonly, all these fields like immunology, bacteriology, virology, mycology, and parasitology, commonly they will focus on the infectious diseases and on the reactions of the host to the pathogens. So what the pathogen does to the host is read in these all the fields. Although the advent of antibiotics and vaccines have certainly taken the dread out of many infectious diseases, the threat of infection is still a fact of life. And new pathogens are constantly being discovered. Strains of old ones have developed resistance to antibiotics and making therapy more and more difficult. Incurable infectious diseases like AIDS and rabies are still with us. Next, moving to pathogens. So the pathogen is the organism that cause diseases to humans is known as pathogen. So these pathogens cause a specific disease and which is represented as an agent. The types of pathogens are most communicable diseases in humans are caused by either viruses or bacteria. And some diseases are caused by protozoa or fungi. And the specific traits of a given organism determine what type of disease is caused and how it passes from one person to the other person. So these microorganisms, they not only useful, but they will also cause the diseases like virus, bacteria, protozoa and fungi. They all cause the diseases. So if you see bacteria is a single-celled microorganism that are more numerous types of than the more numerous types of organisms on the plant. And only a small percent of bacteria cause diseases to human beings. And most of the bacteria, they are harmless or even they are helpful. If you see the helpful form of bacteria are useful in curdling process, etc. And the variations in size, cell wall, and the chemicals produced, etc., affect the types of the diseases caused. So these bacteria also they will vary in the size, shape, and cell wall structure, and the chemical agents that has been produced by the bacteria. Based on these chemical agents, they will cause the different types of the diseases. And the antibiotics are effective in treating infections that are not self-limiting. So to cure the bacterial infections, antibiotics has been used. Next, viruses. Viruses are strange organisms that are not even truly living because they are obligate parasite and they will depend on host cells for their replication process. So these viruses, they do not look like other life on our planet. They are leading to some biologists calling them as aliens. Some biologists, they will call these viruses as aliens. In order to live and replicate themselves, they hijack other cells and use their organelles to make viral DNA. So these viruses, for their replication process, they will use the other cells and they cause the cells to die, and these viruses will replicate in the host cells. Then they kill the cells and releases the new viruses. The new virions has been released after destruction of the host cell. And the viruses are usually self-limiting and can be treated by dealing with the symptoms of antiviral drugs. Only antiviral drugs has been used to treat the viral infections, and the antibiotics are not effective. Antibiotics are effective only against the bacteria. They are not effective against virus. Next, protozoa. Protozoa means primitive animals. These protozoa are also single-celled organisms that behave sort of like animals. So they will behave as animals. And they cause diseases such as amoebic dysentery, malaria, etc. And technically, these protozoas are represented as parasites. And these protozoal infections has been treated by anti-protozoal medicines. Next, fungi. These are the organisms such as molds and yeast. Molds and yeast, unicellular and multicellular. And they will reproduce via spores, and spores are often an agent of the disease. So these spores are causative agents of the diseases. And some fungi even help us by producing antibiotics. And these fungi, they are also useful in production of antibiotics. And the fungi are treated with antifungal medicines. The fungi are used to destroy the bacteria, but to destroy the fungi, only antifungal drugs has been used. Next, resistance. What is meant by resistance? That is, it doesn't respond to the normal treatments. So that means if any individual is infected with the disease and the disease is caused by either bacteria or fungi, etc., and these diseases may not be cured by the drugs. And even though if you are giving high dose of the drugs, the host cell will not respond. That is denoted as resistance. If an organism is resistant, it means that it does not respond to the normal treatments used for it. And this is dangerous because it often means that patients have to take stronger medications with more side effects, or that there is no way to treat the disease. If more stronger medications with more doses has been taken, the patients will be affected with adverse effects or side effects. And by taking these much of dose also, they cannot be able to cure the disease because they become resistant to those drugs. That is, the organism which is causing the disease became resistant to the drugs. And the resistance is caused by both overuse of antibiotics in healthcare. Because of overuse and or improper use of the antibiotics causes resistance towards the pathogens. Then what is the importance of these principles of microbiology in healthcare? So healthcare providers and laboratory specialists have the task of figuring out what type of organism cause diseases. So they should know what type of organism is causing the disease. This is the only way we can have specific and effective treatment. By knowing what type of organism is causing the disease, we can also develop a treatment methods to cure the disease. And choosing the wrong treatment can allow the disease to get worse and also contributes to the growing problem of antibiotic organisms, antibiotic resistant organism. If the disease has been treated with wrong drugs or wrong treatment, then it leads to the growing of antibiotic resistant organisms. Once these antibiotic resistant organisms has been developed, then the disease cannot be cured and the disease cannot be eradicated from the public. So that is why the antibiotics should be used judiciously. And I will end this lecture with a quote by Louis Pasteur. Science knows no country because knowledge belongs to humanity and is the torch which illuminates the world. Thank you.